my last lecture, I started with an overview of OSI and TCP/IP reference models, and we were discussing each layer and its functionality just as an overview. We continue with the same because we started with physical layer, we discussed the functionalities, and now today we start with the layer 2, which is the data link layer. Now, data link layer, as you can see, is placed between the physical layer and the network layer. Data link layer provides reliability to the raw bit transmission of the physical layer. The physical layer's main functionality is to transmit the raw bits, but there is no reliability that can be expected from the physical layer at a uniform level. Data link layer does that, and as you can see, the data from the network layer is encapsulated in the data link layer with a header H2 and a trailer T2. This header and trailer carries the necessary information to make the data link layer perform all its duties. Let me show you what are the duties for the data link layer. The most primary duty of data link layer is framing. So, all the incoming stream of bits from the network layer are divided into manageable sizes, and these are called frames. So, data link layer does framing. Data link layer also has the task of addressing every device on the network. There are two devices communicating, there is a sender and there is a receiver on a network. Now, data link layer header will carry this information which will uniquely identify the sender and the receiver on that network, and this is done by using the physical addressing mechanism. We will be doing the detailed functionalities a little later, but at this time, since we are doing only an overview, so I am just mentioning what all responsibility each layer carries. So, physical addressing at the level of a local addressing mechanism, that means the addressing is unique to a network, within a network. So, this is also done by data link layer, and the header will carry the identifiers for the sender and the destination of this message. Then there are certain mechanisms which are also implemented in the data link layer to ensure flow control. The flow control will prevent a very slow receiver to be overwhelmed by a very fast sender. So, if a sender has the capability of transmitting data at very high rates and the receiver is comparatively a slower one, then these mechanisms make sure that the mismatch in the speeds is controlled by making sure that the sender matches the slow speed of the receiver. The fourth responsibility of the data link layer is the error control. So, data link layer makes sure that the frames which are received by the receiver have no duplicacy, have no damage, or even a loss in the frame can be controlled by the data link layer. And this information is carried in the trailer that is attached in the data link layer. So, physical addressing is managed by the header and the error control is managed by the trailer information. And then the access control. So, within a network there is a possibility that all the devices might be using some common resource. Like for instance, in your bus topology, all the devices are using the common link to transmit their messages. So, there has to be an arbitration mechanism which tells which device will get hold of the common resource at that particular point in time. So, these are called access control mechanisms, and data link layer controls this mechanism as well, and the protocols that get implemented in the data link layer perform all these 5 functionalities that are expected out of layer 2, and this is done by adding a header and a trailer to encapsulate the data which is coming down from the network layer. Now, we say that data link layer performs hop to hop delivery. So, when the data starts from the sender's site and it has to reach the destination, then the destination and the sender may not be connected directly and they may have to pass through intermediate systems. So if you see this diagram, there are three end systems. There is A, there is D and there is F. And then there are three intermediate systems B, C and E. Now if A wishes to communicate with F, then the packets will have to reach F through a route. It has to travel all the way up to F and it does not directly reach F. From A it goes to an intermediate system B because there is no direct connection. From B it has to go to either C or E, and let's assume it goes to E, and then from E it will reach F. Now at each of these intermediate systems, the data link layer will intervene and check and make sure that the hop to hop delivery is error free, and it will look up all the functionalities of the data link layer and it will see and it will function according to the requirements of the data link layer and pass on the frame. So frame starts from A, it will carry the source physical address of A, but the destination physical address will be of B and not F because it is a hop to hop delivery. One point to the next, next to next. It does not look into the end to end delivery from A to F. So at the beginning from A to B, so data link layers will carry the physical addresses of A and B. In the next hop, the data link layer will change the header and will put on the source address of B and the destination address of E. And this is how it will keep changing the headers when the frame makes hop to hop delivery till it finally reaches the destination. So this is the scenario when you consider a hop to hop delivery of a message which is going from one system to another system. The third layer in the OSI model is the network layer. Network layer is squeezed between the transport layer and the data link layer. It is going to perform its responsibilities and pass on the packet down to the data link layer. Now network layer ensures that the packet of information goes from the source all the way to the destination. It ensures, as we say, source to destination delivery. So maybe you would think that this is a similar function to data link layer. There is a difference. Now, data link layer is ensuring delivery from one node to the next node. The next node may not be the eventual destination. The current node may not be the real source. But data link layer is unaware of that. It is just making sure that the frame it has in hand has to be sent without any error to the next node. But network layer knows that these packets start from one source to a destination on the same network or maybe on another network. So therefore we say network layer performs the responsibility of source to destination delivery. And in case your source and destination happen to be on the same network, then maybe you may not need the network layer. The network layer makes sure the packet will go to the destination even if it has to cross multiple networks. So therefore, we call the network layer delivery as source to destination delivery and the data link layer delivery as hop to hop delivery. As you can see, the data gets encapsulated into a packet in the network layer and the network layer adds the header. Now this header is responsible for identifying the source and destination uniquely across multiple networks. The physical addressing mechanism of the data link layer is not sufficient for that, and to have a unique and identifier for each node on an internetwork, we need a different mechanism, and that's called logical addressing, and it is handled by the network layer. So the header of the network layer will carry certain information which will include this logical addressing. It will take the logical address of the source and the logical address of the destination also. The third responsibility of the network layer is routing. Now, when your message has to pass through multiple networks before it can reach the destination, there could be intermediate nodes, intermediate switches, they are called connecting devices, and they need to make the right decision to route the packet correctly, and this is called routing. So, these connecting devices have to be capable of performing these routing responsibilities. That is also vested with the network layer, and while routing, all these connecting devices should have the capability of reading the header of network layer. So, if we look at the same scenario as we had seen in the data link layer, now it is a source to destination delivery. Each of the intermediate system has implemented 3 layers. And if we look at only at the third layer level, which is colored blue, then the addressing will be only of the source and the final destination, not of the intermediate systems as was being done in the data link layer. So, data link layer was passing our frames from one node to another based on their physical addressing, which was in a local jurisdiction. So, supposing my frame has to pass through a network boundary. So, destination is not located on the same network. In that case, the data link layer will carry the address of a node which is connecting the current network to the next network. But in case of network layer, the network layer will carry all through the addresses of the source and the final destination. So, those headers will not change. From A, when the packet moves to the intermediate system B, the packet will have A as the source address and F as the destination address. At B, now that the third functionality of the network layer, that is of routing, at B the intermediate node will look up its routing tables, and based on the source and the destination address, it will guide the packet either to C or to E, which next intermediate system will depend upon the routing table of the intermediate system. So, it will just read the addresses given in the network layer header of the packet that it receives from A. It will not change any addressing. The underlying data link layer physical addressing as contained in the header of layer 2 will undergo a change, but not at layer 3. Similar thing happens in the next intermediate system, and finally your packet reaches F. So, this is the difference between the source to destination delivery which is performed by network layer and the hop to hop delivery which is performed by the data link layer at layer 2. They are very similar, but we say that the entire packet from the source to the destination is the responsibility of the network layer, but of a frame from one node to another node is the responsibility of the data link layer. Data link layer is managing certain mechanisms which are making sure that flow and error are in check. Network layer is not doing any of those things. The next layer is the transport layer, and transport layer is placed between the session layer and the network layer. Now, transport layer is called to perform the process to process delivery. I'll repeat again. Data link layer is hop to hop delivery, network layer is source to destination delivery, and transport layer is a process to process delivery. Now, when network layer is making sure that a packet reaches the destination from the source and it is making sure that it happens correctly, the network layers are unaware of how many packets are making up this message. Supposing you write an email message, that message is divided into transmittable segments by the transport layer. and each segment will carry the header of the transport layer, which will carry information so that the transport layer duties are carried out. Every message will contain many segments. The segment is passed down to network layer, which forms a packet. Network layer does not know how many more segments will come down to it to make packets such that the complete message is transmitted or is passed on to the layers below and finally to the destination. The transport layer knows how many more stream of bits before the entire message is done with, and therefore we say that the responsibility of process to process delivery is borne by the transport layer. Now, a computer is running many processes simultaneously. To give you an example, you could be writing an email, you could be accessing the World Wide Web, you could be using the FTP to download a file. So, you could be doing so many things. You could be multitasking and you could be accessing so many services on the internet. The transport layer assigns a unique identifier to each of these processes so that all the packets that are coming and going, they are being sent by the sender or they are being received as a response from the destination, should be directed to the correct process. And for this, it uses something called as a service point addressing. It is also called as a port address. The port address is given by the transport layer. It is contained in the header of the transport layer, and it makes sure that each process which is running on the computer, on the user's computer, is getting the right flow of messages from the right destination and there is no mix-up. So, this functionality is called service point addressing. And just to give you a quick recap, we had physical addressing in data link layer, we had logical addressing in network layer, and in transport layer, amongst many other things, the header has a service point addressing bits, and these are popularly called as port addresses. Now, transport layer, as I just mentioned, that divides the message into transmittable segments. It divides them, it divides the bits. And then he gives a sequence number, the transport layer gives the sequence number to each segment. These sequencing makes sure that the error and flow control is maintained. Now, when these segments arrive at the destination, reassembly is so much easier. The transport layer will keep collecting segments. Even if they have been received out of order, they can be again put in the correct order. The lost segments or the damaged segments can be identified and they can be requested for a retransmission from the sender side. So, segmentation and reassembly is another functionality of the transport layer. Then the connection control. So, this entire responsibility of process to process delivery can be accomplished in two ways. Either a connection can be established. I had mentioned in one of my earlier lectures the difference between connectionless and connection oriented services. So, both kind of protocols are available. One can provide connectionless service from the transport layer and one can provide connection oriented service also from the transport layer. So, connection control, depending upon what kind of service is required, will be either connectionless or connection oriented, and you can accordingly choose a protocol for the transport layer. Flow control and error control are also managed at the transport layer, but it is a little different from the data link layer. In transport layer, it is the end-to-end flow control and error control. So, when the entire message is received by the receiving machine, then it will be determined whether some segments have to be retransmitted or not. So, everything is done at a much higher level from the source to the destination directly. In case of data link layer, it was happening only from one node to the next node. So, transport layer and data link layer both have mechanisms to oversee flow control and error control. Now this diagram will explain to you how the deliveries are happening at different layers. See, there is the line between the two computers, that is called an internet connection. So that is happening at the physical layer. Physical layer, you are getting connected through a medium. In the network layer, we call host to host delivery or source to destination delivery. So network layer is the first layer which knows exactly where your data in the net is coming from and where it is headed to. Data link layer is not aware of the main source and the original destination. Network layer knows the original source and the original destination, and therefore it is called host to host delivery. The responsibility is to get every packet to the right destination. And then you can see that there are certain processes which are opened in our computer systems. It is showing at this time there are 3 processes opened in the source machine, and there are 3 processes running in the destination machine as well. So as you can see, the middle process is the one which is initiated this communication. So the transport layer will attach an identifier in the form of a port address, and now it will make sure that the communication between the 2 processes does not get mixed up by the processes on either side. So therefore we say the transport layer is giving us a process to process delivery.